I'm going to jump down to one of our terms to know, just because I want to keep that trend going, and we might come back to these other questions next week, is the marketing terms to know. What is value proposition? I think I said that one right. What is your take when you think about value proposition?
I mean, in simple terms, I would say, what do you bring to the table? Like, what do you bring to the table that is different than the competition? Like, a value proposition isn't that you're, to use, I know, Jordan's a window film installer, a mobile window film installer. So your value proposition can't just be that I install window film, because everybody that's in the window film industry in your area installs window film. So that's not a value proposition. What makes you different? Why should somebody choose you versus the competition? Is it a value proposition? Could be maybe a particular brand that you have that's maybe you feel superior to the other things, and you can explain that. It might be the number of years of expertise that you have. It might be the fact that you're mobile and you'll come to them and do the job on site, where somebody else will require you to bring the car to their shop. You have to figure out what you bring to the table that the other party do. A value proposition isn't the same thing everybody does. Installing window tint, an automotive window tint job, is ubiquitous. Like, everybody that they're looking at does that. What makes you different than everybody else? You have to determine that, and it may be different for everybody, but you have to explain, what you do. Like, maybe it's the process you go through, the cleanliness, the level of preparation you do to ensure that the installation is cleaner than the average company out there. Maybe it's a warranty option that you offer that nobody else offers. But the value proposition is what differentiates you from the crowd. And just the fact that you do something doesn't differentiate you from the crowd. So that's what I think. Like, what do you bring to the table? Not just, Yep. That could be said for any business. If you're an Italian restaurant and you're competing with other Italian restaurants and you say that you sell spaghetti, it's like, well, no joke. You're an Italian restaurant. Of course you sell spaghetti. But what makes your spaghetti better? Why should I come to you for spaghetti instead of the other places?
No, absolutely. I have this defined as a unique identifier that makes a company or product attractive to its customers. It's a clear statement that explains how your product solves customers' problems, delivers specific benefits, and tells the ideal customer why they should buy from you and not from the competition. And I think I'll put a little spin on this just because it's I think it's a rapper. I don't remember who specifically. For all I know, it could be Jordan. There was somebody who does these unique things. One time he was wrapping a vehicle in one of those inflatable dinosaur costumes. And then I kind of went through and I got his stuff later on that he did a wrap for Candy Crush and their specific expo for 10 years. Yeah. And he was the specific one that kind of did it. So it can also be, when I read that definition, I was like, okay, it's a clear statement. So that could be like your mission statement. It's like, How are you defining what makes you different and better than somebody else to get people to come to you, as well as what attracts people to you because of your uniqueness. And I think we've mentioned that before with what kind of value or what separates you, as far as whether it's in my head when I first was thinking of it was like my reviews, or I've like 500 5-star reviews from different people because of my service and cleanliness, or it's I was picked by this local magazine to do something. So there are different ways to do it, even if you are starting off. If it's just figuring out a way to make yourself unique in a way that puts you up on a pedestal, more or less, and you are blowing. You're kind of infatuating who you are, but this is what you would hope to bring to everybody that comes there.
Yeah, I would say it's got to be, to wrap this up with a bow, I would say it does have to be, though I know what you're saying about, building it up a little bit, but it does have to be true to who you are.
Yep.
Because you don't want to like promise somebody something in a value proposition, or like when you're talking to people and you're putting this out there as a value proposition and then fall short of that. That's what's going to end up getting you bad reviews and things like that, and unsatisfied customers. So it's got to be, maybe you could, inflate it a little bit like Ronnie was saying, but it's got to be true to who you are. If you say to somebody, hey, my preparation process ensures the cleanest window film install that you're going to find. Well, you damn sure better deliver on a clean window film install, or you've sort of fallen short of the exact value proposition that you promised. So the other thing I would say too is that, and again, I said this in the very beginning when I was answering this, but you really have to be careful, because a lot of times somebody will come up with a mission statement or things like that, like Ronnie was talking about. But what they're saying is, yeah, that's what your business does. Okay, like everybody does that. You have to figure out what makes you unique or you different, or what value you bring to the table that the other people don't. Because again, if you're an Italian restaurant, it's not enough to say you're an Italian restaurant. I mean, that's on the title of, that's in the name of your business. I mean, of course, I know you're Italian restaurant. That's not a value proposition. You saying that you guys use a recipe from your great grandmother that immigrated from Italy, and you still use the same recipe today, and you guys fly in you go to a place that flies in fresh ingredients from Italy once a week. Now you're starting to get into the value proposition of why I'm going to come to your Italian restaurant versus the one down the street.
Yep. No, I had same thing with a pizza place here in Chicago. There was a recipe that was 70 years, and that it was recommended by a lot of different people because of the flavor, and they kept the recipe so long. So yeah, it's figuring out what makes you and making sure that people know about it. But also, as you mentioned, don't oversell and underdeliver. Make sure you undersell and overdeliver, so that people are going to share this and then want to come back and be like, this was such a great experience.
Absolutely.